The Al Travis Show, and one of our fan favorites with us today is Erich Mische. He's the guy who runs S.A.V.E, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education. Erich, how you doing this morning, my friend?
Well, I decided to brighten up the day and wear my
Not a lot
tie-dye
of guys.
shirt.
Not a lot of guys pull off tie dye at our age. I like it. I like it a
Well,
lot.
I'm not sure that I've pulled it off, but I pulled the shirt on this morning and thought, you know what? I'm going to give Al a nice,
I
bright good
I
morning.
I absolutely love it, sir. I do. I at some point, well, I have to. I got to go through all your background photos for folks who don't watch and listen on the radio. You've always got different posters and stuff behind you. Sometime I'm going to have to go through those and see them. They look very cool. Things you purchased that mean something to you, obviously.
Well, so this one here, the first marathon I ever did after I
There we
quit
go.
smoking. I did that with my wife.
Okay.
This year, in 1996, when Norm Coleman was mayor, we brought America's traveling Smithsonian exhibition to St.
That's right.
Paul. We were one of the few cities in the country. It was a huge, huge deal.
Okay.
Up there is my lovely daughter. Behind me is one of my favorite picture, which is bears dancing. I always thought that was really cool that a bunch of bears would show up in the woods to start
Yep.
dancing. And then
Oh,
over
look at
here is one of my son, which you can't see. He's
there. It
up
is.
there somewhere. So I got lots of stuff behind me.
See, what's fun is you'd learn a lot about somebody when you look at their backgrounds when they start thinking, I just have a poster of my show logo. It's just that self-serving S.A.V.E. Okay, fine. All right. It is what it is. I want to say thank you very much to S.A.V.E, your whole organization, letting us do that suicide prevention on the air day. What was it? A week ago, Wednesday, whatever it was. That was a whole lot of fun. It was interesting to me in that all the radio stations that decided they'd get on board with us. I think 55 of them were running the ads for the awareness and that sort of thing. I was stunned by it. It was a lot of fun, and I appreciate you guys doing that. Thanks for letting me be a part of it.
Al, I appreciate you coming up with the idea and running with it. I mean, it was a great day. We had opportunity to do interviews with other stations across the state. At least 55 stations were airing those public service announcements. We raised a good chunk of money that was doubled by the TOSA Foundation. So thank you to your listeners and others who participated and donated. That TOSA Foundation matching grant, by the way, continues throughout the remainder of the year. So if people didn't get a chance to make a donation, they still can at save.org. But
love that.
as I shared with you before, again, the opportunity to talk about the work that we do with S.A.V.E, with suicide prevention on the radio once a month with you for a half hour is an incredible gift to the work that we do. We have the opportunity to talk about a lot of things during this show, Al, including 988, right, which we've talked about time and time again. It's a free resource that's available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you're struggling and you need to talk to somebody, or somebody who is struggling and you don't know how to help them. So you give us an opportunity to teach people about a subject that we need to talk to more people about.
Well, and I love that. I just appreciate you letting me be a part of it. You've got so much going on. Today I saw it was Facebook, but a Minnesota MinPost you wrote.
Yep.
Can you kind of give us the gist of that? You don't need to read it to us, but I enjoyed that very much this morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's, part of what I struggle with, I will tell you, as a parent, as a citizen, right? And even in the work that we do, right? The whole premise about suicide prevention is lifting people up and giving people hope, right? That's ultimately what all of us as human beings, we need a couple things in life, right? We need roof over our head, we need food, we need water. We need faith that there's a better day tomorrow, and we need the same thing with hope. The thing that concerns me, and this is what I wrote about, is that, American culture and life, whether it's in the real world or on social media, has become so woven into our fabric with hatred. And we need to do something about it. We keep looking for somebody else to go fix it, right? We keep looking for our elected officials, our religious leaders, our business leaders, somebody else to go deal with the hate that continues to divide us in the country. And so when you have an assassination of political leaders here in Minnesota, the murder of some guy who runs an organization, who went out and talked about the things he talks about, and then you have the killing of kids in a church. One of the things that links all of those together is this enormous amount of hate that exists in society today. And so my point is, ultimately, if we believe that something needs to be done about it, we, the people, have to do it. Nobody is coming to
Yep.
save us from it. Nobody's coming to save us from ourselves. We either take care of it and end hate, or hate will end us. There you have it.
And no, and I love that. I think you're onto something. You wrote a book about it. Where do you got a copy of your book, Lander?
I do.
Yeah, go effing
Got
do
one.
something. Yeah, do something. It's a great book. Get it today and read it. You'll see exactly what I mean. It falls into what you're talking about. It's up to us. I think we've gotten into a point, sir, where we thoroughly believe that someone else will take care of our business, right? If we have an issue, the government will come in, somebody will come in. We are waiting for somebody else to take care of this, and that's not how this is going to end. This is going to
Well,
end with all of us
and
finally
we're
saying
also,
no.
you're right, Alan. We're also convinced that somebody else is responsible for it, right? We're convinced that, quote, the other side started it, right? The other side's
Yes,
doing it. And I will
yes,
tell you, as a parent, and I got to believe you had to deal with this as a parent growing up. One of your kids would tell you, well, they started it, right? Well,
yep,
the response is, I don't care who started it. We're going to stop it, right?
yeah,
And so
absolutely.
we need an intervention in this country of a bunch of adults in the room, right? To
Yep.
say, I don't care who started it. I don't care who's responsible for it. We need to figure out how to stop it and move
Yeah.
forward.
I think a lot of that, and again, I blame social media for so much of this, and I know you guys had some great stuff done for kids as far as suicide goes. I think a lot of this has to do with the click things. Um, when you only look for people to agree with you, and you feed upon each other, some of these things we're seeing online to get clicks. That's what starts this whole thing. This gets me, hey, if I do something even worse than Bobby did, then guess what? More people like my thing. And you just start building this thing where somehow clicks make a difference in your life. Maybe it's an age thing for us, Eric. I don't care. Click it. Don't click it. Maybe I'm missing something. I liked yours, by the way, and I did click it.
Well, so I have a section in this book, by the way. I got to remember what it says, but here it is, chapter 13. Al,
Okay.
stop hanging around with your own kind 100% of the time, right? What we do on social media is
Yeah,
we go find people who agree with us. And what
absolutely.
happens is that invariably, after every type of crises or
Yep.
conflict we see in this country, you will see people on social media saying, I unfriended a bunch of people today, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
why did they do that? Is because more likely than not, they unfriended people who didn't agree with them,
Yeah.
right? Now, you and I've had this conversation before. First Amendment in this country allows
Yeah.
you to say what you want, but it doesn't require you to have to listen to what somebody else says, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
That's your choice. But part of the problem that we have is that when all you do is hang out with, quote, your own kind, then that's your world perspective, right?
Yeah.
You and I probably disagree on a lot of issues, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you have people on your show all the time who do not conform with your way of thinking, with one exception. You deal with people with dignity
No.
and respect, and even people you disagree with, you don't treat them with hatred. You don't look at them as enemies. And that is a critical, important part of a mature democracy and republic, is the ability to disagree with people without looking at them and saying, you are my enemy.
See, that's so weird, and thank you for saying that. But it's so weird that you grew up in this world. Like, I don't know how you got started, quite frankly, but you've been in this world for a long time, politics and
Mm-hmm.
doing what you do. That's the way we used to be. I don't think there's anything special what I'm doing. You and I get along spankingly well. Like say, we probably don't agree on a whole lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't. How do I put it? It doesn't form our thoughts about each other fully, right? I mean, before we got on, I mentioned my kid got
Mm-hmm.
engaged yesterday, and we had a conversation. It's like Eric Mische's more than whether he voted for this guy or that guy. Where did that leave us? When did it leave us? It's just so weird. Our age, okay. I think this is a younger problem. Oh,
Well,
he's
I
got the
don't
book
think
again.
it is a younger problem. I mean,
Oh,
maybe it's a more recent problem, okay,
okay.
but I think that it infects all of us. Okay, it doesn't matter
Good.
what your age are. My other book, if you may recall, the one about going down the river,
Oh,
right?
yes.
One of the
Yes.
things I write about in this book is that the thing that was the most remarkable to me going down that river was I went down during COVID. right? I went down
Yep.
during a incredibly divisive national election. And
Yep.
everywhere I went, and I went through 10 states, I went through some of the most conservative and some of the most liberal parts of America. At no point did anybody ever ask me whether I was a Democrat or Republican. They didn't ask me who I was voting for president. They didn't ask if I was a liberal or conservative. Every single time, they simply asked me, how can I help?
Yeah.
Right?
There
We
you go.
need to remember that is who we are at the core of our existence as a country and as Americans.
I love that. We've got to go to break. When we come back, we'll talk about this thing coming up in November and how we can get involved with it early and often. It's Erich Mische. He runs S.A.V.E, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education. Back right after this. It's the Al Travis Show. We've got him, Erich Mische with S.A.V.E, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education. Love this group. You got a big deal coming up in November. Let's talk about that a little bit, Eric.
Yeah, so November 22nd is International Suicide Loss Survivors Day across the world. And
Okay.
S.A.V.E is part of our four pillars. We have four pillars we talk about at S.A.V.E, which is education and training, advocacy, lethal means safety, and support for suicide loss survivors. This event falls under that pillar. It's going to be Saturday, November 22nd, Saturday, November 22nd,
Okay.
from 8:30 a.m. until 11 a.m. And it's going to be held at East Ridge High School in Woodbury, but we're also going to live stream it. And
Okay.
so go to our website at save.org. You can learn more about it. If you want to come and be there and you're a suicide loss survivor, or you want to support those who are suicide loss survivors, there will be an incredibly powerful, uplifting program that
Love
allows the
that.
suicide loss survivor community to come together to talk about resources that are available to support them and others. We've got a musical performance, we've got some presentations. It's going to be a very powerful program. I guarantee you, you will learn something about
Love that.
those who have lost someone to suicide. And if you're someone who has lost someone to suicide, it's a great way to come together and find people who can help lift you up and support you. So that's Saturday,
Okay.
November 22nd at Eastridge High School in Woodbury.
And we will definitely talk about that the next time you're on in November. But let me ask you, you talk about live streaming it. And as you're chatting, not that I was fading out here and there because you're a dynamic speaker, but what hit me was, sorry, what hit me was how much I think the internet does do some good stuff. I know a person who is a suicide survivor, he and his wife, and the ability to get together, even if you're not, in the same, I don't know, but like an AA meeting back in the day, you had to go to the church basement and all be within, a mile of each, get there. That's not the way it is anymore, right? I mean, if you're in that boat, you can get together with other folks across the world with Zoom and that sort of thing. Do you guys use that a lot in your line of
We,
the work?
we need to use it more. And because you
Okay.
raise a really important question and an issue, Al, is that, as you know, we talk a lot about the harms of social media, right?
Yes.
And because
Well,
you can't not talk about it because its impact on kids in particular is absolutely devastating. At the same time, if you remember when social media first started becoming ubiquitous, what we
mm-hmm.
were told time and time again was that this was going to bring us together. This was going to be the great connector of societies
Yeah.
and the benefit, right? Well, I think we could look at that 20 years later and say, well,
Yeah.
that wasn't entirely true, right? But the places where it does connect us, where social media and technology and the internet can play a critically important role, is in things like the International Survivors of Suicide Loss Day, right?
Yeah.
If you are living in California or New York or somewhere else and you can't get to that kind of
Yeah.
program, but it's something that is important to you, that's a resource to be able to live stream. So I think there is a benefit to that. We do know that in rural communities in particular, so let's talk about
Mm-hmm.
that. One of the
Yep.
areas where suicide rates are starting to climb at a horrifying rate are in rural communities. And part of the reason for that is a lot of rural communities still aren't connected to
Yep.
technology. And the more that you have those connections with broadband and things like that, the more you can provide virtual, visits with with therapists and counselors and things like that. So we can't just simply say that all social media and all technology is bad. We're not Luddite. But we need to recognize that there are limits to how it should impact our lives.
All right, I've got to, because I'm going to run out of time. I want to mention it again, 988. If you're feeling weird about the conversations we're having, doesn't hit your heart right, call 988. It's there for everybody, or text them. The other thing I would say, go to S.A.V.E..org. I'm on the programs page. Just amazing, the age groups. The Green Bandana Project, kind of more of a younger, if you're at school thing, the One Step Ahead program, the I-Beam if you're in construction work. There's just something for everybody. You can take a look around, see what feels right for you. But Erich, I love having you on the show. I thank you for doing this, my friend. I really
Thanks for having me this morning, Al. Get some coffee in you.
Yeah, no doubt. Erich Mische on the Al Travis Show. More coming up right after this.